Hmm. Good morning. And today is January 22nd, 2025. And today in the Love Dare is talking about being rude. Now, there's a couple scriptures that I was trying to decide which one I wanted to go with. And I found two. So, one was I was going to skip over completely because I wasn't really understanding it. And I don't really want to explain something I don't understand. But this one is January, wow, I'm just early. Proverbs 27:14. He who blesses his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it will be counted a curse to him. Now, just quickly, I want to skim over that. And what I have found is we tend to say the right thing at the wrong time. A quick example of that would be like, let's say you're at a funeral, a woman just lost her husband. You want to say the right words and go up to him and say, God has a purpose for this. No, that is not what you say to a woman that just lost her husband. That's the right thing and probably true. Bad timing, okay? At home with our spouse, we need to choose our words wisely when we say it, how we say it. It might be true, you know. If my wife and I are talking to each other and I forget to do something, if right then and there, did you put the towels in the dryer? I forgot. She could immediately right then and there be like, you always forget, right? She means it and it's true, but that kind of conversation should take place at a different time, and she does a great job at this, where I can forget something, don't do something. I've told her, I said, look, I'm going to fix it. You don't have to remind me every 8 months, okay? Haha. So choosing when to bring something up, choosing when and how is, I think, important because Ange later on could say, what would help with you remembering to do small things? What would help if, should I remind you again? Should I, because she's done that. And here's the rude part, right? I can say, remind me. And then she does. And then I'm like, okay, I got it. I remember you told me. I just told her to remind me and she did. And now I'm barking at her. Okay. So choosing the right words at the right time is something to really pay attention to. How we talk to our spouse, the tone we use, the words we choose, okay? The other one, I'm going to kind of try to push through this. Psalms 112 verse 5, a man of discretion will find what is appropriate and adjust his behavior accordingly. So throughout the day, our situations can change. If Ange and I are at home with each other all day long, we could start off good, happy, drinking our coffee, doing whatever, taking the dogs out for a walk. If something changes, the attitude changes, the morale changes, it's important to pick up on that because she could be thinking, all of a sudden, she could be thinking about work, she could be thinking about family, she could be thinking about whatever, and now she's in a little bit more of a serious mood. And so then when I go to be in that jokester mode that I'm always in, it might not be appropriate. Okay, so I know it says rude, and when we think of rude, we think of being aggressively annoying to one another, and it is, and that's kind of what I'm trying to convey is how can we be annoying, how can we be irritating to our spouse and not realize it. There's a lot of good parts in this book, and like I said, I could go on I made this video like a lot today, just like, oh, I'm gonna go over this, I'm gonna go over that, and I could talk an hour for this. So I'm just gonna get to the key points, the bullet points. How does your spouse feel about the way you speak and act around them? Okay. So if I were to ask Ange, or maybe you, if you were to ask Ange, how do you feel? And she gave you an honest answer, I would hope a safe environment, feel good, feel comforted. How does your behavior affect your mate's sense of worth and self-esteem? Now, if I choose words or phrases that are constantly putting Ange down, she's not going to feel very good about herself. And one thing I've noticed is if you don't feel good about yourself when you're around somebody, you just don't want to be around them. This one guy one day, they asked him, they're like, hey, do you mind working overtime today? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. They're like, are you sure? Absolutely, I will work it. Either that or just go home to my wife. Okay. Nobody wants to be around somebody who's frustrated. That's going to frustrate you, irritate you, be annoying. Would your husband or wife say you are a blessing or that you are condescending and embarrassing? So if you were to give an honest answer to someone or to your own spouse, would you be a blessing? Would you be uplifting? Or would that person say, yeah, always putting me down, always, just absolutely sees the wrong? Because I guarantee at the very beginning, you didn't sit there and tell your, girlfriend at the time, God, you did this. You are so bad at that. God, what is wrong with you? Guaranteed you didn't do that. But now we get a little comfortable, and I got my trophy wife, and now I can start pointing out the wrongs and the things she don't do right. So today's dare: ask your spouse to tell you 3 things that cause him or her to be uncomfortable or irritated with you. You must do so without attacking them or justifying your behavior. This is from their perspective only. Now, one thing I like to think in my head, especially when doing a 4th step out of the big book of AA, is, we took a personal inventory of ourselves. They already think it. It's in their head how they feel about us. So the best thing to do is ask them, how do you really feel? Because 1, it'll get it off their chest because they're already thinking it. And 2, at least you'll know now. The other day I was at work and I rarely get any kind of criticism, constructive criticism at work, because I'm like really an amazing employee. But I asked him, I said, look, I don't get a lot of criticism. Am I doing all right? I wanted a little evaluation because I like to be good at my job. So if I've been getting customer complaints, or, I'm doing something wrong, I'm speeding in the work vehicles, I'm running through stop signs, or, I don't do that, but let's just say, right, or speeding, that I do. I want to know about it. I want to know, hey, how can I improve? And it's not changing who I am, it's just changing my behavior, to be more fitting. And that's how we should be with our spouse. We should be saying, look, I want to be a better spouse to you. I want to be better at how I do things. It's not changing who you are. You're just changing how that person, trying to make some changes so that, he or she feels comfortable around you, feels loved, feels adored, and who knows, I might not intend to be rude or condescending, but if she points it out, because to her, it might come out condescending. It might come off rude when maybe I don't even mean it, right? I'm an early bird. I love making noise in the morning. If I go into the room right now acting like myself at the wrong time, I'm going to be considered very annoying. So I know I've tried to say I'm going to make these videos short. Hardly anyone ever really watches them anyways. So I've told people I do this because I'm dedicating myself to it. I'm really keeping myself accountable, and I really want to just stay focused on these. So if you made it this far, nice, good job. If not, again, this is really between Ange and myself. Just like if you get the love there, it should be between you and your spouse. You know, this book is not for only bad relationships or relationships that are, you know, looking like they're headed in the wrong direction. This book can help make a very good relationship better, or it can make a really bad marriage that's going in the wrong direction, might give it that correction that it needs. You know, when building a house, you know, you put these rebars, you put the structure, you put the concrete around, you know, the foundation. You're not putting that because it's already a bad house. You're putting it to keep it a good house. You're keeping that foundation. You're keeping everything sturdy and strong right from the beginning. And sometimes a good house that has wear and tear needs some repairing and be fortified a bit, and that's where this comes in. So hope you get something out of that. If you made it this far, I'm probably just talking to myself and my phone, but have a good day. Pay attention to how you speak to your spouse. You know, choose your words wisely. You know, and don't forget to ask them 3 things. Don't defend yourself. Don't say, well, I act this way because. Just hear them out and say, okay, thank you, because they're already thinking that way about you. Now you both know. So have a good day and be safe. I'm not going to edit this part out because it takes a long time. Have a good day.